Is this the border control?
Yes.
And I didn't stop. I just drove through.
Yeah.
Illegally?
Yeah, but
Oh, I crossed the border
I
illegally.
thought we thought you were going to do this.
You're not gonna arrest me, I hope.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so now I'm back on the road. I'm leaving Durban and I am going to a country that is totally surrounded by South Africa. It's a small country, around 30,000 square kilometers, 11,500 square miles. It's about the size of Belgium. The capital is called Maseru. It got its independence from United Kingdom in 1966. The currency is called Lesotho Lottie, but you can also use South African rands in the country. And it's high up in the mountains. 3.4 kilometers above sea level is the highest point of this country I'm going to today. My name is Palle Bo. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast, and I am going to Lesotho. This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels and guest houses and hostels around the world in one simple search. Hotels25.com.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Having the goal to visit every UN nation in the world, obviously Lesotho was also on my list of the 193. Quick side note here. I said Lesotho in the clip before, and now I'm saying Lesotho. So which is it? Well, it's Lesotho, even though it's spelled with an O in the middle. But I didn't know any better back then. Live and learn. So you're gonna hear me saying Lesotho again. Just ignore that. Okay, I was in Durban and I could see that it was a fairly short drive up a beautiful mountain road to get to Lesotho. So I decided to book a place to stay in the country, only spend one night there, and then head back down the same way the next day. I love driving in beautiful mountain roads and take in the scenery, so I was really excited to get going and also to experience this small African kingdom. But the day turned out to be much different than I expected. I'm getting closer to the border of Lesotho. There was just a sign just before saying border control 13 kilometers. And then the paved road turned into this very bumpy dirt road. They're working on it right now. There are hundreds of workers that are working on the road. But this is the road to Lesotho, according to the signs and according to Google Maps that I'm using as navigation. But around me there are mountains and the scenery is just amazing. It's only this road that is very bumpy. Let me set the scene for you. I'm driving on a mountain pass called Sani Pass that cuts through the mountain peaks between South Africa and Lesotho. The route up Sani Pass starts at 1,544 meters above sea level and climbs to an altitude of 2,876. Let me give you that in feet too. It starts at 5,065 feet and climbs to 9,435 feet. Again, I'm driving in a Toyota Corolla. Yeah, my new rental car that I got in Durban was also a Corolla, like the one I was driving on Garden Route. The view from the windows were out of this world. And, well, so was the road I was driving on. It was as if I was driving on Mars. The road is a very steep gravel road, which can be difficult to drive in bad weather and impossible in the winter where it may be covered with ice and snow. The Sani Pass is known for being a death-defying experience. The Smithsonian Channel calls it one of the most dangerous mountain passes in the world. They made a video about this that I put on the radiovagabond.com. You should absolutely check that video because not only is it beautiful, you can also see how difficult it is to drive. So Sani Pass is called the mother of all South African mountain passes. It's longer, and it's a higher climb than any other pass in South Africa. The road was built in around 1950 and is a challenging drive in a 4x4 vehicle. And that's the word that is so important for my trip up this road. It's challenging for a 4x4, like a Jeep or a Land Rover. And here I was in a Toyota Corolla. Try to picture this. You're watching an ultra-marathon run come by, and all the runners are in good shape. They have trained for this run, and they're all wearing the best running shoes that money can buy. And here comes the untrained Danish guy in flip-flops. And as for driving in the mountains, I come from Denmark, a country without any mountains. In fact, the highest peak in Denmark is a small 170-meter hill. That's around 558 feet. I wish I'd done a bit of research about Sani Pass before embarking on this drive. Like, for instance, just go to the Wikipedia page about it. Here it says things like, caution must be exercised and motorists must be alert while navigating the pass, as it has claimed many lives. Occasionally, the remains of vehicles that did not succeed in navigating the pass's steep gradient and poor traction surfaces can be seen. And it also says, by South African law, only 4x4 vehicles are allowed on the road. See, that would have been useful information for me. I was not even allowed to drive on the road in this Toyota Corolla. I didn't know this. I saw no signs and nobody stopped me. Well, here I am, an hour after that, explaining what happened. Okay, as I was driving up this dirt road, it got worse and worse and worse. And the only cars I met were 4x4s. And at some point, the road got really, really rough, and I thought, I need a 4x4 for this. I'm driving a Toyota Corolla, and I'm afraid to hurt the car, and I'm afraid if it can't make it, and I'm afraid I'm burning up the clutch, and this vehicle is not meant for driving here. And then I passed a house where there's a sort of a toll thing, and but it was open, so I went through, even though now I see that it said border control. So this was actually the border control, and I drove 300 meters up the dirt road until I came to a river running straight across the dirt road. And if you have a 4x4, you can easily drive past it, but I was afraid I can't pass this. And as I was standing there looking at it, assessing the situation, a policeman came up to me. Apparently he saw me crossing the border and came up, and he said, "Oh, you can't pass here, and the road from here to Lesotho is only going to get worse, and you will not get up there in that vehicle. You will need a 4x4.
Can I drive across here?
No,
I can't.
no. You want to go to Lesotho?
Yeah.
No, you can't make it with this vehicle. You can't.
Oh no, what do I do then?
You need a 4x4.
Yeah, but I don't have a 4x4.
That's a problem.
Is it going to get worse?
Very bad. The road is not good.
Oh my god.
The road is not good.
How the hell do I get there?
No, they get 4x4s. You see, it's better if you're coming from this side. The type of weather like this. But going up is terrible. It's terrible.
Is there another way to get there? Is an alternative route?
It's too far.
Oh my god, and I booked a place to stay.
Pressure snack.
Let me get my map.
Maybe it might be better there.
So imagine this. I crossed the border illegally. And this guy was with his colleagues in a small building at the border itself having lunch while they looked out the windows and saw something I bet they'd never seen before. someone crossing the border in a Toyota Corolla and not even stopping. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall and heard the conversation in there. Hey, did you just see that? What the hell is going on? He's not going far. Let me walk up and talk to him. And as if he knew that I was going to stop where I did, the officer actually walked up to me. I'm pretty sure he was actually feeling like laughing and saying, "Dude, what are you thinking?" But he was very polite and didn't make fun of me.
Maybe there will be one taxi coming from Lesotho. Because there are 4x4s, there are taxis. Oh, yeah.
As he told me, the road would only get worse from here. Much worse. And there would be no way I could go in this car. There were mountains on the left side of this narrow road and a steep drop to the right, so turning the car was not an option. He got in the car and I started backing down, very slowly, down to the office where I could assess the situation and find out exactly how I would make it to my eco lodge with a stunning view in Lesotho.
We have booked in which hotel?
For Malongo Lodge.
Oh, hey.
Inside the office, he started speaking to his colleagues in a language I don't understand, probably Zulu. And they were all keeping a straight face, even though I don't know if this translates to, "I brought the idiot back here. He thought he could go all the way in that car, can you believe it?" Well, if I was in their shoes and spoke a language that I knew the other person didn't understand, I would probably say something like that. But really, I'm sure they were not. They were really doing their best to help me out of a crazy situation.
The alternative is that I don't go to Lesotho.
Just Mkhotlong?
Yeah, but that I don't go. I was only going to be there for one day, but I wanted to go.
If your car is small, you can't make it, or else you would go.
No, that's what you
would have to go back to Underberg and get a taxi.
Yeah.
But it will take time. I have to get a taxi. And he already booked.
Have you paid them? Or you just...
Yeah, I did. But it's only one night.
Oh.
It was not expensive. It's not going to kill me, but yeah, I did pay them.
That's going to kill you.
Yeah. I get a good story, right? It's not going to kill me. I get a good story to tell my grandchildren at some point. Of the day I nearly went to Lesotho.
Yeah, it's not going to kill me if I don't go, and if I lost the money that I paid for the lodge. It was not that expensive. There would probably be a bigger risk of getting killed if I tried going there in this car. And as I said, I'm getting a good story, and I'm a collector of good stories. So whenever something bad happens, I always try to stay positive and remind myself that I'm in the middle of a good story. But still, I wanted to go. I wanted to experience Lesotho and tick off another box in my country list. They said that I could wait, and then maybe, just maybe, there would be a 4x4 taxi coming this way at some point.
We're gonna call the taxi and see if they can reserve a space for you. You leave your car.
And they offered to call a taxi company and ask them. I look around the office, and honestly, it's not until now that I realize that I'm actually at the border control.
Is this the border control?
Yes.
And I didn't stop. I just drove through.
Yeah.
Illegally?
Yeah, but...
Oh, I crossed the border illegally.
We thought you were going to do that.
You're not gonna arrest me, I hope.
No, it's fine.
Okay, are you sure? Okay, alright. No, they say they're gonna reserve one space for you. They can reserve one space for you in a taxi. It passes here. You can wait.
So they were able to reserve a spot for me in a 4x4 taxi. They just didn't know when.
Maybe they will charge 150. Or they will charge the money from Underback. Oh, you see them?
The what?
You still? No, I've got a tour guide who knows this place. But they said, see, from Fotong is at a distance.
It's what?
He's at a distance. It's about 7 kilometers.
As I was standing outside the office, my new friend comes out to me and tells me there's a local tour guide who knows the place I'm going to in Lesotho.
This place, he says it's too far from there. Well, even this, if this guy is from Underback not yet arrived, it will take you time. He will arrive. He says he will arrive late. You can speak to him.
Yeah.
Maybe he can give you some.
Yeah.
So that.
Hi.
Where are you heading?
Do you know this place?
Modumong Law? Yes, I know it.
Yeah. Is it very far away?
It is about 40 kilometers inland Lesotho. Then you travel about 7 kilometers off the road on another route.
Uh-huh.
It's not on the straight route to town.
No.
Yes. When you get to the turn-off, when you're about 10 kilometers to get to town, you take a left.
But my problem is I can't drive in this car that I'm driving in.
No.
I need a 4x4.
If you take a taxi, you will need to go straight to town and take a taxi that will take you there. Or if you catch a taxi here, you must ask the driver if he's going to go that route to Modumong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have to take a cab that will take you to Modumong.
Yeah. Sounds a bit of a challenge.
It's a little bit on the side, yes.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I'll go to Lesotho another day. I was only meant to go there one day, spend the night and then drive back. That was my plan.
So the option is to take a taxi, a 4x4 taxi, to the city of Lesotho, and then from there get another taxi to the lodge, which is 40 kilometers away from the border inland, and the road down to that place, I was told, is going to be even worse than the ones I'm driving here. So I really need a 4x4 for that. But that might take me a long time. It's around 2 o'clock right now, so I would be there after dark, and I was only to stay there one day and then find my way back. It's going to be too much of a hassle. So today was the day I came so close to Lesotho, but I didn't make it across the border. Well, technically I crossed. This was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I realized that I wouldn't get there until late at night, I decided not to go. Also, I would have to figure out how to get back the next morning in order to get to my next destination. So it would just be too difficult.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip.
Thank you, and enjoy your meal.
I'll have to come back another time, better prepared, and also maybe plan to stay longer than just one day. It was really a bummer, but I learned a lesson. Do a bit more research next time, and don't run a marathon in flip-flops. I turned the car around and headed slowly back down the rough gravel road and started looking for a place to stay. Coming up, I go to an elephant sanctuary and a lion park and nearly run over a lion's tail. Stay right here. This week's letter from a listener comes from Seattle, Washington. It's from Anne, a fellow Dane who lives there. Hi, Palle. My name is Anne, and I live close to Seattle, Washington. I just wanted to say that I recently found your podcast, and now I'm totally hooked. It's cool to hear about a fellow Dane with the same wanderlust that I have. I also travel a lot, though I'm not a nomad like you. My husband and I travel for a month every year to a new country. Last year we were in Argentina, India the year before that, and Bolivia. The list goes on. I don't think I'll ever visit every country in the world like you have planned to do. I was only on 28 the last time I checked, but who's counting? However, I love hearing about your adventures. Keep up the good work, and please let me know if you're ever close to Seattle. Coffee's on me. Anne Harai. Actually, Anne, I'll take you up on that coffee, and I can tell you exactly when I'm going to be in Seattle. August 2021. You see, just a few days ago, it was announced that the next TBEX conference is going to be in Tri-Cities, Washington, not that far away from Seattle. TBEX is the global gathering for travel content creators, and since I do their podcast, Travel Matters, I know for a fact that I'm going to Tri-Cities to do interviews for the podcast. And of course, I'll have to visit Seattle when I'm that close. So I hope to see you then. I'd like to sit down with you and your husband and share some travel stories. But Anne, I also saw you had a link in your email to your own blog with travel photos. So you and your husband should absolutely go to TBEX in Tri-Cities. It's right in your backyard. So go. You can see more about this event on tbexcon.com. I'll put a link on theradiovagabond.com. I would really also like to hear from you. Where are you and what are you doing right now when you're listening to this episode? You can either send me an email on listener@theradiovagabond.com or go to my website, theradiovagabond.com, and click on Contact. Or you could send me a voicemail on WhatsApp and I can play it in the next episode. My WhatsApp number is +45 40 105 105. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. It's so nice to know who's on the other end of this.
So after getting back on the paved road from the dirt road on Sani Pass, there was a lodge called Sani Lodge. It's a backpackers place with small cabins, and I booked a room for the night, and this is where I'm staying until I leave tomorrow. The thing that's takes some getting used to for a guy like me is that there's no signal at all. There's no Wi-Fi and there's no signal on my local phone. So I'm off the grid. But I think that might be a healthy thing. There should be a restaurant down here somewhere.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Fine.
I'm hungry, but I'm good. Can you help me with that?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're one of those people that have shared this podcast on social media, or maybe just told a friend out there in real life, I just want to say thank you so much. That means so much to me.
This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
Good morning and welcome to day 8 of my South African road trip. Yesterday was the day I was supposed to be in Lesotho, and I made a choice because of the roads were so bad that I couldn't go. Technically, I could have stayed one more day and maybe gotten a day trip with a tour operator to Lesotho, but I chose to come back and do it another time because I made some reservations along the way for the next few days. So that would be a mess to be having to try to change that. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe this is something I will regret down the road. But that's the decision I made. Lesotho will still be there when I come back to South Africa another time. Today I'm heading south again, down the same road as I came up yesterday when I came from Durban. But I'm not going all the way to Durban. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to St. Lucia, and this is just a stop down the road, so I don't have to drive all the way to St. Lucia today. I try to limit myself to around between 250 and 300 kilometers per day, so it's not going to be only driving. So today I'm spending the night in a place called Pietermaritzburg, and I should have chosen a place to stay with a name that I could actually pronounce, but maybe I will learn it during the day. Before I get there to the place I'm staying, an Airbnb, I'm going to a lion park. So that should be interesting, and I will be there in a
according to Google Maps, 35 minutes. I'm driving on the freeway. It's a very nice 3-lane freeway in both directions. And just a few minutes ago, I was standing on the brake as a pack of goats were slowly strolling across the freeway. And it was, one of those times when you are that close to getting into an accident that you think, okay, I cannot prevent this. This is going to happen. It was that close. It was that feeling I had. But for some miraculous way, I managed to bring the car to a stop. Whew, close call.
Good afternoon. I'm going to visit the Lion Park.
So how does it work? I drive through?
It's a drive-through. You drive your own car throughout the car. Look, we've got 2 trails. This is shortcut. You only see lion this side. This is the elephant trail. But I don't know where are the elephant. But the elephant keeper were there with the elephant. But for now, I'm not sure whether they went.
I'm going to spend a few hours in Natal Lion Park, and I was so looking forward to an exciting excursion into the rugged African bushveld. It's just 25 kilometers from Pietermaritzburg. I still don't know if that's the right way to say it. The place that I'm spending the night, and about 67 kilometers from Durban. The game drive itself consists of a 7-kilometer loop around the park with entrance fees ranging at around 200 rand per car. That's only around 10.5 euros, $12, and it seems more than fair when I'm giving the opportunity to potentially see 11 species of mammals, 20 species of birds, and 12 species of reptiles. For me, the main attractions were the lions and the huge African elephants, and I got to see both.
Can I go out of the car?
The African elephants are the largest land mammals in the world, with some of them standing 4 meters tall and weigh as much as 6 tons. On that part of the experience, you go into the bush on a rough road, and when I got there, I would be with an elephant keeper who knew how close I could get to the elephants and still be safe.
What a beautiful animal. How many elephants do you have?
7.
7. Yeah. I thought, I thought when they had the. Okay. What's it called? Tak. Okay, now it's time for the lions. I just passed through 2 gates, very tall gates, and one. Of course, there are 2 gates, so you sort of get into a middle room. So if there was just one gate, the lions would be able to escape as they were letting a car go in and or out. And here they are, lying under trees. Bunch of lions. Let me see how many. I think 10. Beautiful, beautiful animals. Let me get some pictures.
It's a short drive around the park, and you get really close to the lions, like really, really close. They didn't seem to care about us driving that close to them. In fact, there was one of them lying on the road I was driving on, and it did not want to move. So I had to make my way around it without driving over its tail. And And that's almost it for this episode. In a few seconds, I'll share a bit about what you can expect in the next one. But first, I want to remind you that I have a Facebook page where I share a ton of different stuff. Just search for The Radio Vagabond in Facebook. Here I also post all my episodes, and it's an easy way to share an episode and write comments and questions. The Radio Vagabond is produced by radioguru.co.uk and supported in part by hotels25.com. It's a cool place to find the best deals on a place to stay in one simple search. hotels25.com. Now, here's a clip from the next episode.
Well, apart from the visit at the small lion park yesterday, which was very interesting, I got some great pictures. You can see them on the radiovagabond.com. I didn't drive that far, and I arrived quite early in the afternoon, I think 2 or 3 o'clock. And then I spent the day at the Airbnb. There was a kitchen, so I was able to do some cooking. I'm all right. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just recording something for my... No, that's okay. You're a guest on my podcast. Well, I stopped the car just outside on a road, and a woman came up and said, Are you okay? Apparently it's not normal to stop here, but it's 300 kilometers drive today. I'm going first down to Durban, or close to Durban, back to Durban, and then driving along the coast northeast to a city called St. Lucia. There I'm going to be staying for 2 nights at a backpacker's place, and that's because tomorrow I hope to go to a hippo park that's in that area.
My name is Palle Bo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.